We had one question on this slide, and I know that significant figures are tricky every year. They're a little bit pesky as well. And so the rules for significant figures are in multiplication, when you multiply or divide, you report the number of significant figures of the least significant number in your calculation. So in our first calculation, right, I have this 0.25 as a decimal, which came from counting. Counting is an exact number. Exact numbers do not influence our significant figures. So that means I can ignore this insignificant figures, and I can ignore the 0.75 as well. That was also obtained by counting how many gold spheres or blue spheres we had in this mixture. So no influence on significant figures there. So in this multiplication, the thing that's measured is the atomic mass of this isotope. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 significant figures there. So with those 4 significant figures, I do the multiplication, and in multiplication or division, I report the fewest number of significant figures, right? The same number of significant figures as the least significant in my calculation. So the least significant is 4. I'm going to report 4 significant figures, 5, 7, 5, 5, AMU. And that also happens to be all the numbers given from that multiplication step. All right, for the next one, again, this does not impact my significant figures. This does. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant figures. Right? I've got 5 significant figures in this one. So in multiplication, we are going to report the number of significant figures, the same number as the least significant in our calculation. So I multiply, and I should report 5 significant figures. And this was the mistake I made in class. I dropped this 0, but I should report 18.860 because that is 5 significant figures total. That's step 1, multiplication and division. Step 2 is addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction are a little bit different in that they just focus on the decimal places. They don't focus on the total number of significant figures. They focus on how many decimal places do you have. So in addition and subtraction, we report in our final answer the same number of decimal places as the number with the fewest number of decimal places. And so here I have 1, 2, 3 decimals, and here I also have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So when I do that addition, I'm left with a number that has 3 decimal places as well. Yes, it has 5 significant figures, and that's okay because our last step was addition. So adding everything up, I'm left with 24.615. And that's because in addition and subtraction, right, let's say this number I knew as is, the top number I knew as is, but the bottom number, I had some extra numbers in there. Let's just say hypothetically, we've got all of these other numbers, and I'll make this a 4 and 3 and 9, on and on and on. And in addition and subtraction, right, this is why we go to the number with the fewest number of decimal places. Because looking at this number, right, I don't know what's over here. Because I don't know what's after this 5, right, I don't want to carry the error associated with that. And so that means when I add this together, I'm also going to drop everything right after the 3rd decimal place in that number. Because yes, even though I do know numbers out there for this measurement, I don't know it for the other measurement, right? I don't know those values out there, so I shouldn't carry that into my next calculation. So yes, significant figures are certainly always a challenge, and I'll try to do a better job of focusing on the rules, especially on Monday where we work through a few more calculations.